How the sports betting industry quietly consumed America. Welcome everyone to tonight's special presentation on the intriguing rise of the sports betting industry in America. Over the past decade, we've witnessed a significant transformation in the landscape of American sports, driven quietly but powerfully by the booming industry of sports betting. Don't forget to like this video and give us thumbs up so we can keep uploading videos with consistency. Next Sunday on CBS, the Super Bowl will for the first time be held in Las Vegas, a fitting venue given the prominent role gambling plays in sports today. America's recently brought its age-old love of sports betting out of the shadows and onto our phones. And this has created an all-time mismatch pitting men against machine gamblers, overwhelmingly young men, versus gambling companies armed with sophisticated AI data and engineering, enticing fans to make snap bets not just on games but on every play within games. The early results resulted in billions for gambling companies, leagues, and state governments, and a growing population of sports bettors struggling to defend against the rush. The story will continue in a moment. Boston is nothing if not a sports town, and when there's a game, the odds are good. There are guys like Billy, Andrew, and John at the local bar waiting for the campus. They grew up playing hockey together and are now in their mid-20s. They bond over beer-wing trash talk lately, a new fixture of the fan experience. What do you guys bet on football or hockey? You have a team of Berlin's Patriots, so you want to lose money, but meeting and losing money for millions of fans like these guys is one more reason to watch and enjoy sports. During games, promotions for sports books like FanDuel and DraftKings are everywhere. Bet $5 to get $200. The 2018 Supreme Court decision opened the door for states to legalize sports betting. You want to strangle the money by cannibalizing new revenue. 38 states and counting have done just that. Pelicans in America have spent more than $250 billion on sports betting. That's the GDP of Greece. Leagues have cashed in networks demand. I gotta teach you how to get with our decades-old odds and point spreads, which are forbidden topics now. ESPN has its own sports book called Baby Full Disclosure. When I work at the tennis channel, I sit here with the DraftKings fund and download the app. So right now, I'm just looking at the back at the bar casual social bettors like Billy, Andrew, and John Riebel and their win-ins. Would you throw down any dollars for 347? So do you want 300? It's still early in the morning. And surprisingly, there is no federal funding for gambling research. So data is scarce, but survey after survey confirms that of the 50 million or so sports bettors in the US, men under the age of 35 are far and away the biggest demographic. For decades, leagues feared gambling would corrupt competition. So far, that crisis hasn't happened. However, the last 5 years have seen a surge in young gambling addicts. Joe Rosilio, now 26, he says his problem started in high school. Then in 2022, sports betting apps came to his home state of New York. What impact did that have? Had a big impact. I've worked my whole life, so I'd have to check every week, but it would deposit right into whatever app I was using. Were you interested in the game itself? I am a sports fan, but as the years grew on, you became less interested in the game itself and more interested in the result. Who needs a bookie when a fresh bet is just a swipe away? You can wake up in the middle of the night, take your phone out, set an alarm for a match, maybe overseas or something like that. I would place a bet on anything, anywhere, at any time. He would sneak in bits and pieces at family functions. He deleted the apps one day and reinstalled them the next day to help clean up a tech downgrade. There are distinct signs of trouble. According to a Siena College poll, which we can report for the first time now, of the young men wagering online, nearly half the time they're betting more than they should. In the 5 years since New Jersey legalized online sports gambling, calls to the state's problem gambling helpline nearly tripled the largest caller demographic, 25 to 34. This is a public health emergency happening, and we're not talking about it yet. Ari Levin is a gambling addiction therapist and leading voice on the public health impacts of online sports betting. A decade ago, Levin was a trial lawyer whose gambling addiction was so fierce that he used client money to fuel his habit, leading to his disbarment in his current career. He's noticed today's desperate gambler looks and acts a lot different. I have patients who gamble in the shower. I have patients who gamble before they get out of bed in the morning. I have patients who gamble while they're driving. There are no guardrails. As we scientifically know, the human brain and the risk-reward system for young men aren't fully formulated. So if you're 25, where do the young men get the money to gamble like this? I have patients, some of whom are college students, who have gambled federal student loan money. I have a young patient who has gambled away inheritances. Levine showed us what gambling today entails. It was an NFL Sunday, though, on DraftKings. The betting options extended far beyond football, soccer, basketball, hockey, motorsports, rugby, volleyball, and there was tennis with Pedro de Luz playing Alfredo Perez in a challenge qualifying match in Charlottesville. Those are two names I've never heard before who are betting on this match. two guys who are nowhere near the top 100. Because, John, this is not about tennis. They're not designed for the fans of qualifier tennis in Charlottesville. They're designed for people who want more action. The opportunities for action are literally limitless. Live-in-game microbetting allows users to wager on every pitch, serve, and snap. But if you come down here, you could bet on the current driver, the Green Bay Packers, whether it be a punt, a touchdown on a turnover, or a field goal. Using algorithms powered by AI, DraftKings constantly refreshes the odds, so the common fan can't possibly calculate whether it's a good bet or a bad bet, much less in real time. Where are these numbers coming from? How do they know the odds of Green Bay losing a fumble? We don't know that they have access to all of the statistics combined with artificial intelligence and the ability to predict what will draw action in math. Our cousin is a leading gambling reformer in the UK. He's also a recovering gambling addict. I would say he understands what the nature of these companies really is. He says the UK, where gambling has been legal for decades, offers a sobering glimpse into what he believes is a crisis headed straight toward the US. There's lots of opportunity to gamble in Britain. You assume it's safe, but you don't realize how easy it is to get addicted to that stuff. The addiction has intensified. He says how much the gambling companies know about each user. This is just for one. Recently, Zard's cousin was able to use Britain's public information laws to access data the betting company Flutter, owner of FanDuel, had on a UK customer. That data was used to tailor offers and push notifications to keep the guy in action about what you learned instead of the 93 different data points they had on this individual. When they bet what offers worked and what inducements worked on this particular one, he played slots for 3 to 4 days straight. They knew the customer's life stage, so Winback describes that as people who have given up gambling for a while and are trying to get them to come back. There's also like 25-14 deposits in a year, which is about 7 a day. So these gambling companies that know when we're most impetuous have reams and reams of data on us. What kind of match is that for the adolescent male? It's not exactly fair. It's not a fair wager. Do they have enough data to pinpoint potential problem gamblers? Oh, without a doubt, yeah, they know the people who are addicted. Flutter insisted to us that the company does take steps to protect its vulnerable customers, sometimes banning them outright. The two largest sports books in the US, DraftKings and FanDuel, said the same, though they declined to provide specific instances when they've done so. We had arranged to speak to DraftKings about all this, but abruptly, they pulled out of our scheduled on-camera interview. So we came to Washington, D.C. to meet Bill Miller, president of the gambling industry's key trade group, the American Gaming Association, and take out our phones, 24 hours a day, a few swipes. How do you reconcile that with the fact that this entertainment has the potential to addict users? Yeah, the addiction element of our people is addicted to their phones, which is kind of a common phrase. I don't believe that there is an addiction to mobile betting any more than there is an addiction to the utilization of your phone for any other reason. You don't think adding a layer of betting makes the phone more addictive than just tooling around Instagram? Every clinician we've spoken to has said we're seeing an increase in problem gambling. There are a lot more problem gamblers now. By every metric that there were before 2018, I would concede the fact that there are more known people with gambling problems because we in the gambling industry are flagging those people. The league of the illegal industry don't flag any of them. Miller explained that sportsbooks look at betting patterns to spot problem gamblers, but acknowledged that a uniform industry-wide policy on that is still a work in progress. There's problem gambling. It is a real problem. Whether it's gotten bigger or it's just become more noticeable because sports betting is legal, I think it is an unknown. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.